Hey guys, so we weren't able to get to our grant portion of the presentation tonight because we had our Constitution ratification and Intro to Parley Pro by Connor. So I'm going to take some time just within the next 5 minutes or so to go over RSA grants so you guys have a full overview of the entire process to get access to our resources. So as the slide says, RSA offers programming and advocacy grants to all of the on-campus students who need them. So as members of community advocacy boards, you guys are the primary audience for these grants because you do a lot of programming and advocacy work in our halls. So I want to just give a brief overview of the grants that we offer, how to apply, and some example of activities that you can do for each of these grants. So every CAB is going to have a budget, but sometimes the budget that you're given doesn't completely cover the costs of some type of initiative that you want to lead. So the purpose of RSA's grants is to give you guys an opportunity to apply for additional complementary resources that you can use alongside your budget to do some type of initiative. So we have two primary grants that you can apply for. The first grant is our programming grant. We currently have $2,000 available for programming initiatives in this grant. So you can apply for the programming grant for funding to lead an inclusive program in your residence hall community. So I've listed some examples of those types of programs on the slides. So you can do with your residence hall community a make and take event where you do a paint night, or you put together a wellness package where students can grab school supplies and put together a little goodie bag and then run back to their rooms in a socially distanced way. You can do a movie night with students living in your residence hall and get some snacks that you can provide in, once again, a socially distanced way. You can additionally do multicultural events, sustainable events, or some type of service-based event where you identify a charity that you want to work with and maybe put together something for that charity in small groups in the residence hall space. So those are some examples of some programs you can do in hall that you can use RSA's resources for. If you have ideas for programming, you can reach out to myself or Roxana or TJ to talk about potential ideas, and we can work with you to put together a proposal for a grant. Same thing goes for advocacy grants. So advocacy grants can be used to fund some type of advocacy initiative that improves the quality of life in your residence hall community. Examples of some things you guys can do. One thing that we're trying to lead as RSA are CAB Cares candygrams. So similar to the make and take event that I suggested for programming, you can put together candygrams or a wellness package for students and drop them off at their door to make them feel more included in their community. That could be kind of an advocacy or a programming grant. You can put together wellness bags for students, get additional whiteboard supplies for your lounge, or just supplies in general for students that make their lives in the residence halls better. We have a process for completing both of these grants. And you can access that process and those forms by going to our resources homepage on the RSA website. So if you click this link, it'll go directly to the RSA resources page on our website, and you can see we have a link for our advocacy grants, and we have a link to our programming grants. So let's go through these really briefly. Advocacy grant, really simple. Cyan approves the advocacy grant as our director of advocacy. All you have to do is click through the application. It asks you for some just basic, contact information, your name, email, where on campus you live. Have you talked to your VP of advocacy from your residence hall about this idea? Have you talked to your advisor or residence hall coordinator? We can check yes for those. Let's say we have some old residential spaces on this sheet. We can say we're from George Reed. My name's Ryan. And then the final portion of the application just asks for your proposal. What's the problem that you're looking to solve? What's the solution that you're looking to solve? Have you, completed a survey in your residence hall to get, feedback on your idea? Have you researched some pricing or installation research? Have you, conducted a petition to advocate for this thing? And then you can explain, how many, what amount of funding are you looking for from RSA for this initiative? What items do you expect that would need to be purchased? And then if you have any additional supporting documents or research that you'd like to provide us, you can attach a file, which is really convenient. I want to emphasize this here with the advocacy grant funds request. Not all advocacy initiatives require funding. It might be, a need for marketing from RSA, right? Like maybe there's a petition that you're really passionate about that's going around right now, and you want RSA to hype it up. So you can just type in here, instead of putting a dollar figure, you can just say marketing materials for petition, right? On social media, right? So you can submit things of that nature as well if you're not looking for pure just monetary support from RSA. So those are all options. As soon as you submit the form, you'll receive a copy of your responses, and our Director of Advocacy, Cyan, will get back to you within a week about your proposal. So if we click this link again, just walk through the programming grant process pretty briefly. It's very, very similar to the advocacy grant. TJ oversees the programming grant process, and Roxana as well. So all you have to do to complete this application is just explain who's filling it out, your email, basic contact information, the name of your CAB, what position you hold. It probably won't allow me to click through this just because I haven't answered all the questions. But long story short, in the rest of the application, it kind of works similar to the advocacy grant. So you explain what type of program you're going to do, what the budget is, what resources you need from RSA. And once you submit it, you'll get a response from TJ or Roxana within a week about your idea, just providing any support or resources that you might need. Jumping back to the slides, we do have a formal approval process for all grant applications. So if you're asking for less than $300 from us, the RSA Executive Board is going to vote to approve it at one of our e-board meetings. That said, if you're asking for $300 or more, you're going to be asked to give a presentation at a General Assembly meeting to the rest of the students in the GA. And just like we went through today with our Constitution, we'll go through a formal, questions, discussion, voting procedure for the formal grant to be approved by the General Assembly. So that is overall the process, right? You work with your team to identify an idea for programming or advocacy. You fill out the form, communicate with the appropriate director. So for advocacy, that's Cyan. For programming, that's more so TJ's responsibility as the Director of Finance. And then it's either approved by the RSA Executive Board, or you'll be asked, based on the amount, to give a presentation to the General Assembly for your idea. So that's basically, from top to bottom, all that you guys need to know about grants. If you have questions about how to apply for grants, you need help along the way, you can attend our office hours. I want to show you guys a little trick. If you go on to the RSA website, I'll show you what the home page looks like just to make this easier, just to make it what it would look like by default. On the home page, you'll see there's this About Us tab. If you click on About Us, it'll lead you to this page that introduces our executive board and who we are. You can click on Meet the E-Board if you want to meet us. But if you scroll down here to when we meet, we have a link to our office hours. And if you open that, it'll provide a full Google Doc, which has all of the information about when our office hours happen and when each officer is in their hours. So you can probably hear my roommates behind me outside in the kitchen. But if you want to meet with me, for example, you can meet with me either online or in Perkins between 3:30 to 4:30 on Tuesdays. If you have an advocacy question, you can meet with Cy on Wednesdays. If you have a programming question, you can meet with TJ throughout the week, right? So there's plenty of options if you're looking for support on these types of initiatives. And as RSA, we're here to help. So thank you guys. Hopefully this was comprehensive. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out. Thank you.